Some of the biggest moves on low float, heavily shorted stocks happen in after hours. That's that post 4 p.m. Eastern close until 8 p.m. I'm going to talk about what to look for, the scans to run, and what to specifically focus on to spot these huge after hours movers. All right, everyone, before we get started, be sure to like, share, and ring that bell or hit your notifications on Facebook, on Instagram, on Periscope. I want you to be notified as soon as we drop a new video, and share with your friends. Never seen a market like this in my entire 15 years. I want as many people to get access to this information as possible. Share. It's all free. I want to get it out there. All right, that being said, I am lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen. Today, we're going to be talking about what to look for those after-hour huge moves, okay? So let me give you a little bit of I don't know if it's a disclaimer or what you want to call it, but just keep in mind, and I think a lot of new traders overlook this, there is much less liquidity in after hours. Now, that's why these stocks move so big. So it's a double-edged sword. So just be aware, if you're truly new, be very careful in after hours, okay? Weird things happen, but those weird things are lots of times very good, especially when you're talking about this recipe I'm having you look at today, okay? But use smaller size, okay? That's probably the biggest thing I want you to focus on is newer traders use too much size too soon, okay? People that should be trading 100 shares are trading 1,000 shares. People that should be trading 1,000 shares are trading 10,000 shares. And that is doubly so in after hours, okay? Keep in mind, if you got a small account in a stock and you got 10 shares of a stock that goes from 20 to 30 or 40 or from 5 to 15, okay? You're talking $5, $10, $15, $20 a share. You don't need a ridiculous amount of shares. And when things go bad in after hours, they move fast. It can get scary. I don't want you having too much size. Okay, so let's talk about what we're looking for, why we care, and how to spot that next huge after hours gainer. Okay, right off the bat, it's very similar to what I look for on really any setup. Okay, what you're looking for is that story stock, whether that be a hot sector. Maybe they dropped a press release this morning. Maybe they're a sympathy play. Maybe they're a electric vehicle maker and they're, and Tesla's running that day and you don't want to trade Tesla because it's $800 a share, but there's an 80 cent or an $8 sympathy play. So that's the biggest thing that you need in after hours particularly is you need a story, a why, okay? I think that's what trips so many people up. They see something moving around in after hours on no news, and then they buy it, they get bagged, and they're like, what happened? Why didn't this thing keep going? Because there's no reason for it, okay? After hours, illiquid. Maybe someone did something stupid and put in a market order and just skipped the stock up on air. Or maybe there was a rumor that somebody saw, and all the making bank bros get all excited, bid it all the way up, and then it slams back because there is no why, okay? Check that box. We need something for people to talk about. And here's the thing. And after hours, and this may sound funny, and I know a lot of people like pick on Jim Cramer, okay? But simple fact is, when you get these momentum stocks moving, he starts talking about one on Mad Money or somebody else is talking about one on Bloomberg TV or whatever, and people start buying it, and you'll see them move. But they won't talk about those stocks unless there is a why. Next thing you want is unusual volume through the day, okay? And I know I've talked about this many times, but just to review, I think the best metric is to look at the 60-day moving average volume, okay? So what that do, each day that, it moves forward. So you're looking at that past 60 days of volume averaged, okay? That to me is a good snapshot of what's going on. I don't really care about 9 months of volume or a year or 5 years because so many of these stocks are the soup du jour, okay? They spike up, as I think was it Harry said, ooh, the soup du jour, I'll have some of that. But anyway, we're looking for the mania on a short-term time frame. So the 60-day average tells me that, and if I'm trading 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times that daily average going into the market close. I know there's a lot of traders involved. I know everybody cares. Next thing is float. Okay, we want the lower the float, the better, because what happens with the float, and definitely check out my more videos. If you don't know what the float is, if you don't know why we care, I probably have 50 videos on the channel talking about float. And actually, let me make this point. You need to understand float, especially right now, okay? So pause this video and watch my videos on float. You need to understand float rotation, okay? Float rotation, a little bit more of a complicated topic. Click below, check out the StocksToTrade team. I probably talk about float rotation 75 times a day. You need to understand these things, especially if you're trading a after hours squeezer, okay? But the fact is, if there's float rotation, multiple iterations, multiple multipliers of the float, you know there's trapped short sellers, because that, you know, there's only a few million freely tradable shares to short. You know, if it's rotating, they're tripping over each other, they're stuck, because that's what we want to find in after hours. People that are stuck short a stock, because then they start panicking. Okay, story, volume, price action. Price action we're looking for. We want it closing at or around that high of the day. I'm looking at MVIS right now. You can see it ground up all day for, you know, higher price stock. But remember, look at the chart. This could be a 20-cent stock or a $2 stock. But you can see it grinds up all day from 20 to as high as 28, and then closes at 27, which is at or around the high of the day. Then you can see it kind of trickles back in after hours, and then freaking rip faces off all the way up to 30, then grinds up all through after hours, and then gaps up in the morning and smokes every idiot short seller, okay? So this is exactly what you're looking for. And just to keep in mind, this dark, I call it black, but it's probably dark gray. This is the market day, 9:30 to 4. This lighter gray is after hours from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. Then your lighter gray is your pre-market, which is 4 a.m. Eastern to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. But anyway, that being said, when you get that close at the high of the day, at or around the high of the day, I should say, that, you know, it never let any of the short sellers out. So float rotation, volume, story. MVIS is actually a Wall Street Bets stock, but it's also, they've got augmented reality. Wall Street Bets is squeezing people on it. I mean, this thing checks every single box, and there's a reason it did what it did. And then, price action wise, you're looking for exactly that kind of dip and rip type pattern I talk about. Remember, bunch of videos on the dip and rip. My ebook is out now where I talk about the dip and rip pattern. We'll put the link below. It's super cheap. It's the top 5 patterns, long and short. So 10 patterns you need to know. Check that out. But we got that week after hours action, and then that break of the high of the day, which that's your panic point for shorts. So that's what you're looking for in after hours. Okay? All day grinds, unusual volume, story stocks, trap shorts, closing at or around the high of the day, ideally at or around a 52-week high. Then you get that week action, and then you blow them up into after hours. Okay? So scans wise, the number one scan I'm going to use is always going to be that VWAP hold high a day break scan. You guys know that's one of my favorites. That's giving me stocks that have spiked big, consolidated at or around VWAP, and then are getting ready to break into after hours. The other scan that I use every single day as well is what I call that 52-week HOD scan. So that's giving me stocks that are spiked up, consolidating at 52s, and then closing at the high of the day. So I've got 2 scans that you get access to in the StocksToTrade team. Well, those 2. I've got, I don't even know how many scans you get that I've built for the StocksToTrade team. But my point is, you get these 2 number 1 after hour scans. Then the other thing we have built in to StocksToTrade is the new high of day scan, which is what I watch as, well, I watch it all day long. But especially in after hours, because what I'm looking for is those stocks that I know have been moving all day and they're breaking the high a day. So that new high shows me every stock that's making a new high a day. So that gives me that entire read on all of those. So that, in my opinion, is the very best way to spot after hours runners, okay? Back it up, write notes, okay? I threw a lot at you. I threw 5 or 6 criteria. We talked about different scans. We talked about price action. We talked about the why. You can always rewatch these. You can take notes. And then again, definitely check out that ebook. It's super cheap. I break down a lot of these terminology, a lot of these concepts, and I talk about the chart patterns, which I think is the number one thing people are lacking, okay? People know how to look at volume. People know how to read news. They're lacking the pattern. You'll hear people, traders, mentors, people on Twitter say, learn patterns, learn patterns, learn patterns. Well, how do you do it? You get the book, you learn them, 5 long, 5 short. All right, everyone, let me know below. Have you got the book yet? Do you like it? Was it useful? Comments, criticism, let me know. And then also, if you're really looking to hammer home those concepts in the book, learn it right down, nitty-gritty detail, check out the Steady Trade team. Would love to work with you. It's a small group. I'm in there all day long, twice a day, every single day, live in chat, breaking all these concepts down. Would love to work with you. And also, we'll see you on the next video.